challenge the might and hegemony of the British colonial power. Our intellectual giants faced innumerable racial discriminations and yet proved themselves worthy of being counted amongst the very best in the world. Their celebrated achievements rejuvenated the idea of national pride, of self-identity, and practically challenged the exploitative colonial rule. Unfortunately, at the dawn of independence, our national science organizations were unable to pursue the path laid out by the towering pioneers. Vigyan Bharati aims to rejuvenate the civilizational ethos and forge ahead into the modern era by igniting young minds with a harmonious synthesis of the physical with the spiritual sciences. The time has come for all Indians to embark upon Vigyan Bharati's quest for a national science movement with a distinctive Swadeshi focus. It all began at the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, way back in the late 1980s.
The turning point in the history of Swadeshi science movement was in 1991 in Nagpur, which was the largest gathering of nationalist scientists, when we decided that the national organization will be called Vijnana Bharati, Swadeshi Science Movement of Bharat.
We have NCERT, which is Autonomous Institute of Ministry of Education, NCSM, National Center for Science Museum, and the Ministry of Culture, and Vijnana Bharati, together they are organizers. We get unconditional support from various other institutions such as CBSE, ICSE, Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan, Navodaya Vidyalaya Sangathan, and different state boards across Bharat. This is the structure of VVM. Out of millions of students who will be registering for the first level exam, they'll give the open book exam on digital devices. And then around 20% students, they'll be promoted to the level 2 exam, where the questions will be even harder. There'll be more analytical questions with negative marking. And then out of these lakhs of students, only 8,000 students will be lucky to go to the level 3, which we call it a state level camp. These are 1 or 2 day state level camp where this is the only exam where we are not testing memory of a student. Here for the state level camp, students do experiments on their own. So that's the USP of Vidyarthi Vigyan Manthan, where we have presentation, group discussions, and experimental skill test. 10% students from state level camp, they go to the national level camp. So 800 plus students, they'll be coming to one of the prestigious premier institutes, where 2-day extensive evaluation. What we do, and then we find 108 jewels which will be coming and participating into our 1 year of mentorship program. This is the first level exam, and the beautiful thing about this exam is that section A. This section A is about India's contribution to science. 40% questions, 40% marks are there from 2 different study materials, where we have a book study material. Every year we introduce life story of Indian scientist. Section B is about what they study in their classroom, where physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and logic and reasoning, that will be there. Level 2 is similar to that, but it will be slightly more difficult, where there'll be proctored exam and there'll be analytical questions. There'll be some negative marking so that we are able to find the true merit from that millions of people who are going to participate. Students who are bright, and almost 8,000 of them, they'll be going to the next level. But as I mentioned, the beauty about VVM, which is not there into any other competitive exam, any other Olympiad exam, is this particular content. And that is there with a purpose. We want to instill sense of pride among our students. And that's the reason we have this book, India's Contribution to Science. So this is the study material from the previous years, from 2016 onwards to the last year. We also have biography of Indian scientists. Without lot of constraints, limited resources, these scientists, they have shaken the earth. They have contributed immensely. And that is what we want our students should learn. They should get inspired and motivated from their biographies and life stories. India's Contribution to Science book, and another study material, that is the book on Satyendranath Bose. So 20% marks will come from IKS book, and 20% marks will come from this book on Satyendranath Bose. Until and unless they get 50% marks in this particular section, we will not evaluate the section B. So it's must for them to know about India's contribution to science, technology, innovation from the ancient era to the modern era. Science is just not memorizing stuff. Science is beyond that. And therefore, language should not be barrier. VVM is the only exam which is offered into 13 Indian languages. भाषा एक बाधा नहीं बननी चाहिए विज्ञान के प्रति. स्टेट बोर्ड के ऐसे हजारों और लाखों छात्र हैं जिनको हो सकता है अंग्रेजी भाषा कंफर्टेबल नहीं है, और इसीलिए VVM सारे चारों लेवल पे अंग्रेजी के साथ 13 अन्य भारतीय भाषाएं उसमें दी जाती है. तो हमारा स्टडी मटेरियल, हमारे एग्जाम के पेपर चारों लेवल के इन भारतीय भाषाओं में उपलब्ध होते हैं. Apart from offering science into Indian languages, we also ensure that students get feel of real science by doing it. And if it talks about experiential learning, and that is what we ask students to ensure that top 25 rankers from each class, from every state, they'll get opportunity to go into a state level camp. As I mentioned that this is an exhaustive evaluation over more than 5 hours, and we find first, second, third students from that particular pool. Where do you conduct state level camp? Across India. This is a map which tells you that from Union Territory of Leh to Andaman and Nicobar, and from our northeastern states to Run of Kutch, Gujarat, every state we conduct state level camp so that there is representation from every state and every Union Territory so that these students, they are connected to science. There were some 37 such camps which happened last year, and this year we will probably expand that number to 50 camps across India into different corners. These students, they'll get opportunity to go even forward, and they'll be getting opportunity to participate into the national camp. National camp, believe me, in just 2 days, we have almost 700 minutes of evaluation. 9 o'clock, we start our national camp, and the next day, 5 o'clock, we announce winner. So there is a real-time evaluation happening of the students. And the beauty about this particular national camp is that we go beyond just testing the memory. Memory is probably just 10 or 15% of the part. But here, beauty is that we have experimental skill tests in physics, chemistry, biology, and even activity-based evaluation in mathematics. We go and look for their creativity. We try and see their out-of-box thinking. We also ensure that they have sense for local. So there is a science communication part in collaboration with the IKS division of Ministry of Education. We conduct a personal interview and try and find out the leadership quality. And to inculcate sense of pride, we have some sections where we ask them about some modern contributions of different Indian institutes for innovation and technology development. So this is truly 360-degree evaluation, which NEP is talking about, but VVM is doing since its inception. Where do we conduct our national camp? We give these students to get opportunity to visit some very premier institutes. I've had camps such as IIT Delhi in 2017. We had camp in BARC. It was in CSR Lab IICT. COVID-19, we had 2 online camps, IIT BHU, IISER Tirunelveli, IISER Bhopal, and this year's camp was there into IIT Kanpur. Many of you probably are jealous of these students that at that young age, they are able to go there, see those labs, interact with the scientists, and get inspired and motivated to pursue science career. They should not get probably influenced by market forces, but they should have that sense that I should contribute to the motherland. At every level, we award students. At the first level, we ensure that every student who is participating, they get a participation certificate, and around 20% student, they'll be lucky to go into the level 2. Level 2 is, as I said, trying to find out true merit of these particular students. So we again give them participation certificate, merit certificate at school toppers, at district toppers, and then few lucky students, 25 students from each class, they'll get opportunity to go into the state level camp. State level camp, 1 or 2 day evaluation. Again, we facilitate them with participation certificate, merit certificate, but there are also cash prizes. Our partner NCSM, they recognize these state winners and they give them membership to their science centers. And then only 2 students from every state camp, they are lucky to go and get opportunity to participate into the national camp. National camp is a life-changing, transforming event where we again give them cash prizes. First prize is 25,000, second prize is 15,000, and third prize is 10,000. We call these as Himalayans. Truly, they are the tall, scientific, budding scientists who are going to represent India in the coming future. Same time, we also award zonal winners. We have 4 zones until now, and as Vivekji mentioned, a 5th zone will be also there for the international participants. And the beautiful thing about all these is just not getting some moment or prize money. They'll get from any other competitive exam. What is different is that the Srijan mentorship. We have a wonderful team of senior scientists from AIMS, IITs, ICERs, CSR labs who are mentoring these bright jewels for one whole year. So in 2021, we started this Srijan mentorship program for their winners. We are our first camp in this particular city. Students went to different CSR labs, DRDO, they went to BrahMos missile, they went to AIMS, they went to DST, DBT institutes, and they did experiments on their own, and some of the representative pictures over here. Subsequent year, we had a camp in Chennai, where students were lucky to go into different CSR labs and IITs. But one wonderful thing which happened in there was that these students were lucky to go into launching pad of Satish Dhawan Space Center at Sriharikota. This was of the 3rd day of Chandrayaan launching. And these students were lucky that they went to the launch pad where that burning smell was still there, and those sheets which are there protection, they were still not cleared. And some of these students, they told that they are not going to forget visit of that particular launch site. So this is what we do. Last year camp was at Chandigarh. Again, we went to multiple such institutes, give them opportunity to interact with these scientists, give them opportunity to do experiments, see those facilities so that they are able to go and join the scientific community for research. This year camp was there into Mumbai. We were there last week into IIT Bombay. We went and visited IIST. We went to TIFR. We went to Mumbai University. We went to IIT. This is something which is really, really unique. I am an IITian. I got opportunity to go to IIT at the age of 25. But a student at the age of 12, if he is able to go into such premier institutes, that's going to make their life very, very different. The thought process is going to be different, and they'll be able to contribute and probably lead some of the India's national programs and missions. National winners, they are given Bhaskara Fellowship for 1 year, 2,000 rupees, based on some activities and evaluations. That is also very, very unique to VVM. And as Vivekji mentioned, that this year VVM is going international. That's the reason we are calling that this is an international edition of VVM. 6 different countries, JCC countries, such as Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Oman. There are a lot of Indian origin students, and there are a lot of CBSE and Kendriya Vidyalaya schools. So these Indian origin students, in the number of thousands, they give an exam called as Shastra Pratibha Context. So these students are going to have the first, second level exam in their own country. And for the national camp, they're going to join us. And there'll be a zone 5 that will be created, and they'll be given, they'll be competing for the Himalayan national winners, but they'll also getting zonal winner prizes. In short, I'll just summarize that what differentiates VVM with any other exam. This is one such exam which is ensuring that we have 360-degree evaluation of a student. So a holistic evaluation which is possible for the student's development. This is something which is going to give you experiential learning and hands-on activities. This offers peer evaluation and review, because in our national camp, we ensure that students evaluate other students, not just teachers. You are able to have rich heritage of India's scientific contribution, and therefore you can get sense of pride. You are able to also visit national labs such as ISRO, CSIR, DRDO, IITs. Students can identify their personal strengths for their career development. They can have chance to meet to peers at the national camp and the state camp and learn from them, fostering national pride through Indian knowledge system, mentorship from renowned scientists in our Srijan mentorship program, personality development and leadership skills into science, as well as, most importantly, developing willingness to serve the society, which is very important. Despite challenges, despite constrained resources, these students should be able to serve different Indian missions in coming future. We are not able to cover everything which is possible, but I request all of you to visit our website, vvm.org.in, where all the details, our brochures are there.